When I'm looking for reference, I'm just going to pull whatever here. Number one, I'm going to start here with tools, size, large. I want to make sure I'm getting large. And let's just pick this, because this isn't going to matter. Yeah, that's nice and big. Look at that. And then I'm going to grab horses, let's say. Let's say I want horses. And I go through here and I go, okay, these guys might be a good, I don't know. Let's try this. Let's try this guy. This one came off as a JPEG, so I'm fine. And let's just pull cowboy. And I have some other images, but I'm doing this for a reason. And I'll go through the other images here in a second. You have to go to images, by the way, to get the larger file format right here. So let's see with this guy. Oh, I lost him. Maybe this guy. It's already manipulated, so let's see. That looks pretty, that's pretty big. This is good. Let's use this. All right, so, oh, this is that web thing. So I have to go save image as, desktop. Okay, so if I'm cobbling this together, and I go, my size is going to be print, let's say, I'm going to say letter, it's just easier. I don't need it 300, I want to knock it down to 72. And I might just use this as I just might use this stuff as a comping tool. So I might just go, okay, I'm going to take this background, wherever it went. So I'm going to take this, and what I'm starting to do here is just start to figure out what's going to work in my file. So I might just bash this whole thing together. And I'm going to take this guy. Let's just try it this way. How you select these, I don't care, but what you got to do is make sure that you're selecting them correctly. That you're not trying to use an easy methodology that's not working. So, like eventually, if this stuff, if I use like this tool and it doesn't work, I might have to go back to my pin tool or something, or a combination. Maybe I'll use this and my quick mask. But for this, I don't care because all I'm doing is bashing. I just want to see if these things work. So all I'm basically doing is comping right now. Does that make sense? Yeah? So I'm not trying, this isn't my final at all. This is just like, does this guy work here? And I go, no, not really. It doesn't really work. So I might have to go get a different, because I just don't see the compositional possibilities here. So I'll just throw this one out and start another one. I don't even really like the background all that much, even though it's not a bad background. It might just be this I don't like it on. And maybe it's because it doesn't have a horizon, or the horizon's very high. Does that make sense? So I'm just going to trash these things. I might even come in and select them with the Magic Wand tool, and it's a terrible selection. I don't care. All I'm doing is comping to see if these things work. The reason I'm doing that is because you guys don't want to go, hey, I'm going to spend all this time selecting this out. Okay, now I spent an hour and a half selecting it out, and I put it in there, and I go, oh, that looks like crap. You know what I mean? Why would I want to spend all that time on it? What we always want to do is do front-end work, just dirty front-end work, and then come back and do our, get the idea moving and go, okay, these all work. And then I can go make my better selections, start adding my lighting, all that kind of stuff. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. So let's take some better imagery. What's up?
So you didn't like to use them to just do really quick photo, right?
It just looked awkward.
How do you say? If the lighting is off on a certain part that you have on a photo,
Yeah.
instead of going out of your way to try to find another one that makes it fit better, could you most likely edit said photo to to match the lighting better?
Yeah, I can, but I might start off with simple things. Like if I got this, like that cowboy,
Yeah.
and let's say the lighting's very distinctively to the left, and he's being lit from the right, I might just flip the photo and see if I can just get if he looks okay flipped. You know what I mean? Because nobody knows it's flipped, so what's the difference?
Right.
And if I flip it now, his lighting's coming from here too, because maybe the lighting was coming from here. Now, then I can go, what we just did with that camera thing was adjust the lighting. Okay? But if I'm going to adjust the lighting, I'm probably going to have to either really pop it on the other side, or I'm going to have to neutralize it where it is. Does that make sense? So if it's clearly coming from another direction, and I add another light source, it's like, well, that's not how that works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just not how it works. It works in a different way. Okay? It's going to work with that's very directional lighting. I might be able to do some things to trick your eye into thinking it's you know, maybe I put another light source over here where he's getting lit on this side and I give it a color. Like maybe I put a lantern on the, like if that cowboy stand in the desert and he's lit over here, maybe not crazy strong, but he's lit over here, and I can't make it work, and I want my lighting maybe up here a little bit. Maybe I make it a little later in the day, and then I put a lantern here, a campfire, and I go, okay, I'll use that, but I'll warm it all up so it feels like it's a reflected light from that lantern or that campfire.
Yeah.
I just got to justify it. That's all I got to do.
Okay, you just need to find a reason.
Sometimes I even justify it where I just have some light spilling into the frame, and you don't even see what the light source is. But there's a warm light source over there. So it's just like, there could be a warm light source off camera or out of frame. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So then I can pull it in as long as it makes sense to the viewer. You know, if you're looking at it going, that doesn't make any sense, then it's not working.
Right.
Okay. But yeah, you could, I mean, in Photoshop, you could pretty much do anything to almost anything. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It just matters where your skill set is. Okay. So let's take this guy. Let's see. Let's go do the same thing. I'm going to go to print. Let's go to, I want to go to tabloid. I don't know. Nah, let's just go to letter because I can adjust it. And I'm going to knock it back down. We don't need to be at 70 or 300 for this project, okay, you guys? It's just going to slow you way down. And we're not printing it or anything, so I don't need that. Oops. Wrong thing. So some of these I pulled. Where are they? Let's see if I can just pull these in. So this guy, let's see. So let's take this background. It's a little more classic Western background. Maybe I'll drop it a little bit. Yeah, I'd probably wanted sandy desert here or something, but I'm just going to leave it like this for now. And maybe I'll go... Yeah, I think that's fine. Then I'm going to get this guy. I don't understand this thing where it asks you to confirm what you're opening. Okay, so this guy's a pretty easy selection. Why? Because I deliberately selected cowboy on white background. Okay? So I'm going to go up here to my object selection tool, which should be fine for this. Probably, come on. Oh. I'm going to see if I can just do it with, yeah, let's just try it this way. I might want that shadow under his feet. I might not. It just depends on what my background's going to be. Actually, I like it without it. I'm going to go Command C, jump over here, Command V. Oops. Control V, I'm sorry. God damn it, hang on. Control V is paste. For some reason it's not doing either. Hang on. I might be on the wrong layer or something. I see I don't have the layer selected. That's why it's not picking it up, I think. I think that's why. Okay, why is this not selecting? It's super weird. Let me see something here. Oh, no, that's right. I don't know why this is not pasting. Something weird's going on, so let's just do this. So I'm just going to pull this up out of the dock, deselect him, and just pull him in. So I don't want to keep screwing around with that. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, so this is a nice big high-res image, okay? So I'm going to pull this guy down. I could do a bunch of different things with this. You know, in this case, in this composition, I might, because I don't have the ground plane in front of him like I usually like to have. So maybe I'll do something like this. Now, what I would have to do when I made my selection, you can see it got funky right here. So I would have went back. Let's do this. I'm going to go here again. I'm going to do this again. And I'm going to go Object Selection. Come in here. So I want to get that part of his hat. See, it missed it completely. I don't know why it's doing that. It's kind of weird. I could. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my quick mask mode right here. Zero in on that. Get my eraser. And I'd come in and tweak that selection. There's other ways I could do it, but I'm just going to do it this way for now. And that's not a great selection, but I'm just going to leave it for the sake of time right now. The same thing over here. Now another thing I could probably do is I could come in here, so it's going to be really sloppy. I could come in here and darken up this selection. I'd make another layer, and I could go to my levels and just almost make this whole thing a silhouette, and just use it to make a selection. Does that make sense? Or no? Huh? I'll show you guys in a minute. So here's another selection. Okay, so I'm going to see if this time it'll copy it. I don't know why it didn't. I'm going to turn this guy off. Yeah, it copied it that time. So now we got a better selection. And I'd still have to go in and tweak it. It's funky right there. So let's get rid of that a little bit. This would not be acceptable as a selection. You guys know that, right? Now I'm going to go let's put them like that. And I'm just making this up, so bear with me. And I also might come in here right now and go put my title in here. Now, I don't know how many fonts we have in here, but obviously I don't want myriad. So you can kind of scroll over these. The thing that's weird to me about Photoshop is it doesn't, come on, is it doesn't automatically move this out of the way for you. So I'm going to move it over here a little bit. I'm going to, if you double click the little T right there, when you make type here, you can see it makes its own little layer, which is just a type layer. If I double click that, it'll select it. So I want to see if there's something better in here than this. And I'm going to take this color, I'm going to sample this color right here. Grab my, and I'm going to, now that's right there on the foreground color, so I'm going to double click this, and if I flip my swatches right here, it'll make it this color. But I'm also going to take this and see if I can go my hue saturation. So you can see it won't let me pull up my hue saturation because this is active type. Okay, so I'm going to right click this and go rasterize type, and now it should let me go to my hue saturation. Sometimes it won't let you do things to active type. Okay, and I think I could just saturate this a little more. And I might even try an overlay on it. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. I'll leave it there for now. I don't like that it's overlapping that cliff though, so I'm gonna pull it up here. Okay. So now I've got this guy. Now I'm gonna go, well, what if I go put another layer on here? I'm gonna grab, I can grab pretty much any color, so I'm just gonna leave what's there. And I'm gonna put this on foreground and transparent again. All these things we've used already. And let's see if I can just go. I screwed up my title, but that's all right. So I was thinking a little brighter, but I actually kind of like it a little darker. It looks pretty good. I want to make the background a little more dramatic. Let's go. I like it a little darker, actually. Okay, now I'm going to take him and I'm going to put a layer mask on him. Switch up my gradient to a black and white gradient. And I'm just going to go now. If I do this, I'd probably have to change the bottom because he's kind of fading into rock too much. So let's try another thing. Maybe this might actually work. So let's try this. And I'm just going to grab this much of it. I might not even want that weed in there actually, but let's see. Copy it. Paste it. I'm going to put this behind him. I'd probably have to knock that out. Where is he? He's there. So what I want to get here is this background where it's not, I'm going to fade it. So I'm going to put another layer mask on it. Yeah. See how it faded into each other? So now I've got my little open area here, which is what I wanted. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's put him back in here. Now it makes a little more sense. And now maybe I can come here and grab what's that called? MA. I don't understand this whole thing right here at all. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my whatever it's called. I'm going to try and use my rectangle. This is my direct selection tool. Oops. I want the rectangle. There we go. I'd have to get these interiors. Yeah, we'll do that later. Let's go back here. Oops. I don't want this anymore. I want this. There it is. Okay, I'd have to get rid of this white and all that stuff, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. Because all these I'd have to make really good selections with. Maybe this is back here. And here I could probably just start doing a lot of overlay-ish stuff. Leave it there for now. And I could start putting my elements in there. Oops. I'm going to grab... I don't need that. So I might put a couple of guys out here. I'd probably put this horizon a little higher actually and have some people riding in on it. Maybe I'd come in here and see if I can find Yep. So let's try. That's really big, so that's good. And this is a PNG, so that's good. Pull it in here, because what I'd need to do is probably kind of create a little bit of a transition here with the smoke a little bit. Hang on. And I'd probably start to light this smoke somehow. I'll leave it on multiply for right now. It's picking up. I'm going to get this in front of him too. I think it should actually go on top of everything probably. Yeah, that's better. So I'd probably try and get some color into that. I don't know if I can do it or not. A little bit. It's picking up a little. I wouldn't want this hard line here, but that's how I'd start compositing my images. Does that make sense? Okay. Hang on. Let's say that we go back here, make another layer. And I go, I'm going to take a really orangey sunsetty idea. Oops, it's too much. I can adjust it, it doesn't matter. And I go, make a half-ass selection here. Yeah, give it a more dramatic background, right? Well, then I might come in here and go, I don't know, maybe I'll just grab a soft brush and do this. Knock my opacity down, it's at 39, use the same color, make another layer over the cowboy, and start to tint some of these colors, find a nice overlay that'll work, like that maybe. And just start knocking this light around a little bit. And say that he's catching a little bit of light. Does that make sense? I'm doing it real half-assed, but you guys, I don't know how good you can see it up there. But if he's getting all that light around him, he's going to catch some light too, correct? I'm going to put a layer over everything. I'm going to go, and I'm going to make it gray. So I'm going to go edit, fill, foreground color, there it is. Then I'm going to try and go see what it looks like if I do a multiply. Let's try a couple different things here. Let's say it's just that for now. And then I'm going to go here and do my layer mask. Then I could come in here with, if it was a night scene or something, I want to start pulling light out of it. I could come here on my layer mask, get my, whatever you call it, my brush, soft, pull back the opacity, which it is, and I could start lighting it here. So now I don't even have to think about it as much. I can just go, well, I'm going to get all the warmth on the side where the light's coming from. Does that make sense? And that's just using your layer mask tool. And the beauty of this is that I can really start figuring this out, where the light's going to be. So it's already gotten more interesting just doing that, okay? Can you guys see that pulling the light out? Okay. But now the nice thing again, because we know this, if I switch to my white, I could I could paint it back in and get really selective about where my lighting's hitting. That's actually how I do it with this probably, because then I don't have to sit around and pick colors. I just kind of knock everything else down and then pop out the warmth. Does that make sense? That's a really good trick, by the way. And a lot of times what I do with this is, and I'll show you guys how to do it. I'll take like a rendering.